This is one of the largest meadows I've ever made. It's happened over many, many years. 6 years from the day I walked in, this is what the garden looks like now. And you can see the bathtub ring has been totally transformed with water lilies and thallias and all these fabulous water-edged perennials that can basically tolerate the fluctuating level of the lake, which can drop as much as 2 to 3 feet. So many of these plants can be 2 feet underwater and then be exposed if the lake level drops in dry years. One of the most interesting aspects of the plantings of the lake was the creation of these floating islands. Here you can see one in the distance, one of our earlier islands, but here we are putting another island out into the lake, and you can see what it looks like here with the newly planted grasses, sedges, and accent plants being in their containers going into these floating mats. We did have to anchor the floating mats to the bottom of the lake, and a couple times they did break free, but we finally figured out how to get them anchored even under stormy conditions. But it actually helps with the clarity and the health of the water, these floating mats of vegetation. Look at the floating island from here. If you pay attention, you'll notice that these floating islands are actually moving. And they are tethered to the bottom of the pond, but they're basically on cables, so they get to move around to a point, which is kind of fun, because sometimes they're in one spot and sometimes they're in another. Movement in the garden. How about the rose tunnels on the dam side of the lake with these wonderful pickerel plants growing in the water with the water lilies, and the cut stumps leading you down to the water's edge where you can feed the koi. The pavilion, as viewed from the far side of the lake, is just absolutely gorgeous in combination with the water lilies and the floating islands of grass. Even in the fall, when most of the flowers have finished, the floating islands of vegetation just really add a touch of magic to the lake.